Hi, my name is Ryan Supis, and this class is EDL 853, uh, and this is Module 8, Case Study, When a Student's Rights Are Wronged. The summary of this case study is pretty dynamic. Basically, Miguel has a horrific accident during a football game, and it leaves him paralyzed. He has to go through a lot of rehabilitation. Uh, he has to get a doctor's release completed so that he can get back in school. Miguel wants to attend college, and to do that, he needs to get some classes that will work towards what the college is requiring him to have. And one of those is a biology class, and that's something that is in his courses that he needs to take. But first of all, when he gets back, he gets the doctor's release and he gets back into school. He ends up they have kind of like a pep rally or a hey welcome back celebration, and the principal gives him a trophy in honor of him supporting his team and all the work that he has done. um, Later that day, about second hour, Miguel was told that he would be taken out of the biology class and that he would need to attend a different class. Basically, that class would not count towards his college ambitions. So he ends up going home later in the day, and his parents want to set up a meeting. So that meeting comes up, and then the parents, or the mom, shows up, and they start the meeting. And then a little bit later, the father shows up, and he has an attorney with him. Uh, they basically started throwing out what the rights of the student, and whether they met different requirements and policies in state and federal laws. What we know about this case is that Miguel, who has a physical disability, he's got physical trauma, probably mental trauma, and he does require wheelchair assistance. Miguel he's taken rehabilitation. He's been through a lot, and it seems like he's got hurdle after hurdle to get back into school. And of course, he requires that wheelchair for mobilization. Uh, Basically, how Miguel has attends school and how he participates, it's changed drastically, and there's a lot with that. So Miguel's going through a ton, and of course, he's going to a school that's pretty large. It's a high school of over 3,200 students, and we know that he was denied access to the biology class. The parents requested a meeting. Mrs. Guzman had taken him out of because of Miss Guzman taking him out of that class, and that there was an attorney present during the meeting. Um, and then, of course, there's a lot of issues with that too, but I'll get into those here in a little bit. What we need to know are uh, basically what should have been done prior to Miguel's return. How could this situation have been avoided? And an attorney showing up. Uh, does Miguel qualify for IDEA, ADA? Does he qualify for Section 5 or a 504 plan? Um, and are Miguel's parents entitled to a hearing to maybe determine if he's entitled to receive services and support? Would Nottingham High School, the opposing team's football player, or anybody else be responsible for his injury, or financial compensations related to injury and rehabilitation? Who would you contact following the meeting um, after this, and kind of what steps would you take? Would you meet with Miss Guzman to discuss the situation, why or why not? And of course, do you believe that you can come to some agreement with Miguel and his parents and find a solution to this issue? Of course, you just got to remember that the most important thing is the student and his education, and obviously there's a huge hurdle to that. And of course, the problems. This is where the meat of the issue is. Preparation for Miguel's return should have been better handled. Administration team didn't meet to get some of this to make it a smooth return for him, and to see if there's uh, any issues that could come up. Parents are not wanting to discuss it without an attorney. Um, the preparation that we talked about a little bit ago should have included accessibility to classrooms. It seems like the district is stretched thin on space because they have mobile homes or additional buildings set up that don't have ADA accessibility. That should have been thought of beforehand. There's been a big communication breakdown, and of course, there's escalation of the situation. Some of the proposed plans and strategies, as a principal, here's the strategies that I would use. I would advise the parents and the attorney that the meeting will need to be rescheduled. Of course, them bringing an attorney in, we probably need to have somebody representing the school. And we would also appreciate, the school would appreciate it if they would let us know that if there is an attorney involved in anything going on, that they let us know as soon as possible so that we can be prepared for that. And of course, we need to discuss the supports that need to be implemented to make sure that he's in the classroom as much as possible. Second, we need to insist that the school will accommodate the needs of Miguel, and whether or not an attorney is involved, it will be done. We need to discuss the communication breakdown that happened. This is post issue. The parents were not kept in the loop. Changes will be need to made. And also, I believe that there needs to be a discussion with the KASB attorney, the superintendent, and Ms. Guzman at some point too, about how the situation was handled and how there was a breakdown. Discuss the accommodations, implement the changes, fix the communication issues, provide a timeline to get Miguel back in class, move the classroom to an accessible classroom if needed. And something that I believe that came right to my mind was ensuring the privacy of the student and the parents. I don't think everybody needs to know the reason, why we're making all these changes is because of one student. None of this needs to be discussed with anybody, and if changes need to be made, they need to be made without that being said. Uh, Fourth, we need to work to build a better relationship with the parents. And lastly, we just need to ensure that this kind of breakdown doesn't happen again. How to resolve these issues? Keep Miguel in the least restrictive environment as possible. Miguel was successful in the classroom in the past, and that's something that needs to be remembered. And we need to find options to ensure that this success continue. Miguel doesn't need academic support. He's successful in that. So we need to have a consistent plan to ensure Miguel's needs are met. We need to provide positive communications, connect the students, parents, staff, and administration connected. Provide accessibility in every aspect for Miguel. Make the necessary changes to become ADA compliant. Resolve these issues first. Then we need to look further and see why it broke down and how to fix this for future success. We need to also provide frequent check-ins to both parents, Miguel and Miss Guzman, and the staff. I believe we need to provide professional development for the staff. And of course, the administration team needs to meet frequently to ensure that everything is being done correctly. And of course, assure the parents that an attorney isn't needed, but if they would like an attorney, that's perfectly fine, and that the school will be providing these accommodations. Next is problem debrief and unresolved issues. It's kind of a what am I thinking, feeling, valuing. Basically, the accommodations, it was a complete breakdown. They should have made these before his attendance. I feel complete empathy for the family about the college readiness, the needs of Miguel, the issue, the injury. There's lots of dynamics here, and I believe if Miguel isn't needing any counseling, that kind of thing needs to be made aware that it's available for the family and for everybody involved. This whole situation at the school could have been avoided with better preparation for his return. I don't mean the incident. The incident was obviously horrific, and accidents happen. I value the parents' concerns about Miguel, and that they're worried about his education, they're worried about his rights, and believe that the school's infringing upon them. Miguel doesn't I don't believe that Miguel would qualify under IDEA. Um, an IEP has not been developed and the needs haven't been established, so I don't believe he'd qualify in general. I could be wrong about that. I've done a lot of looking and studying on that. I believe Miguel would qualify under ADA because it, schools need to be physically accessible to people with disabilities. And even if it's one classroom that's not ADA compliant, that needs to be accessible by everyone. It doesn't matter who you are. Miguel may qualify under a 504. I did some looking into this too. I believe that's for academic success. However, if his if Miguel is having issues and is inhibited due to a physical disability, it could cause academic issues, and those kind of issues could be resolved with uh, things that need to be happen in classrooms and stuff. So I'm not sure about that one. I don't think it's there yet. I think it's definitely an ADA issue. And Miguel's parents are entitled to a meeting to determine services and support under 504, ADA, IEP, whatever. They're welcome or entitled to a meeting. Whether or not they get those services will be up to whoever makes that decision. Miguel's parents need to look at injury and ask whether the injury could have been avoided or lessened through reasonable care by the school. Liabilities. I believe that these kind of things are horrible and nobody wants them to happen, but in this case it happened. And I don't believe that the school is at fault, but I do believe that the school isn't making the correct changes that need to be made. Um, Contacts needs to be made with KASB attorney and the superintendent because the parents did have an attorney involved. And the best thing is to not only ensure that the student has access to education, but that the student the district also has proper representation. And an agreement, I believe an agreement can be reached with both parties if they're willing. I think it has gotten to the point where it's escalated quite a bit, but I believe this could be resolved. To promote academic success, and we all know that the only reason why we're here is for student success, student education, and to keep them safe. So we need to ensure that his needs are met, that Miguel has access to all classrooms. We need to make changes to the building if this is the case and we have issues where some students can't access things. It needs to be fixed immediately. Things can be done, and when those buildings came, when they added the trailers for the additional education classrooms, then obviously that should have been thought of at that time too. We need to promote communication within the school and with the parents, involve parents, be very transparent, work this into a professional learning situation, look at policy and consider changes or better awareness. We need to ensure this doesn't happen again and that communication doesn't fail. We need to look at other ADA issues, not just this. It needs to be expanded further after this is resolved. Fix these current issues and then, like I said, just expand them. Um, of course, this is something that I kind of thought of after at the very beginning. When I was reading the case study, I believe that uh, Miguel is at risk for social and emotional instability. We need to ensure that, and I believe that the school failed and could have caused more issues with that. So I think that his needs need to be met. That accommodations for all ensure the safety and students of all staff. Miguel doesn't need academic accommodations, but that could be something that uh, is needed later on. I believe that needs to be talked about. We need to have communication, be transparent. Parents need to be informed. I believe that all of this is involved in a healthy relationship and a healthy mental well-being of the student and the parents. And another thing with well-being is ensuring the privacy of the student, ensuring that these are school improvements. This isn't just for Miguel. This is for the school. But Miguel, of course, helped to spur this. ADA compliance and other issues, and that the staff can be better informed that policies need to be in place. Uh, and all of this definitely ties into promotional, or I'm sorry, student well-being. We need to enhance the capacity. I have talked about this many times already, ensuring that the school, looking forward, the school has the appropriate supports, aids, accessibility, the training and supports used not for everybody, and that we continue communication with parents. That is the key of everything here, is communication, communication breakdown. Things weren't talked about beforehand. It should have spurred uh, meetings, talks, phone calls, and that didn't happen. And of course, these are my references that I use for this report, and I think this was a terrific case study that really got my mind going. And I believe there was a big failure here, and I believe it could be corrected before it really gets out of hand. Thank you.